All right, if this is news that broke yesterday, this is probably the biggest news that broke yesterday with the Batman being delayed, which we'll talk about that in another video. So I was busy yesterday, so I couldn't do it. But y'all, I got another video that came out today, the hidden gems that was worked upon last night. I thought about doing that, so whatever. It is what it is. We're gonna talk about the other stuff later, but I got a video plan. But let's talk about this one, Marvel. So X-Men 97 showrunner, I'm about to say creator, but showrunner, Mr. Let me say if I'm saying his name right. Benny DeMayo, Mr. DeMayo has been quote unquote fired from Marvel. Now, there's speculations. There's nothing been reported yet. Nothing's came out. But the speculation is OnlyFans. Speculation is work harassment, which I don't think they would have waited this long for that. If that would have came out, trust me, they would have said something. I do believe he called out the Witcher's writers and how they handled the situation with Henry Cavill. That was red flags. I think the people of The Witcher are probably happy about this. Here's my thing. When the product comes out, then I can have an assessment of maybe they fired him not because of the OnlyFans, but they probably fired him because of how crappy this thing is. He's come out and said that the X-Men, he was always woke and saying this and that. Look, here's my thing with that. The X-Men is the characters that... The X-Men is a very underlining of discrimination, racism, sexism, same thing, sexism and all that, but it's very underlined. Because again, I'll give you an example. Storm. You could have a human tell Storm, we don't like your kind. Are you talking about her race? Are you talking about her mutant gene? Or are you talking about the fact that she's a woman? You don't know because, again, it blurred the lines. Now, over time, they kind of blurred the lines over. I mean, when it first came out, it wasn't like that. But eventually, over years, they started playing around with that. We had the great writers, that came in and started really dabbling with that over time. And when you watch the 90s X-Men show back now, it's subtle. You see it, but it's subtle. It's not like overarching the whole story of the show, but you see it. There has, especially with Sentinels and Robert Kelly and all that, especially in the beginning, you see that, and it's. So I get where he's coming, because that's why the X-Men is my favorite, because it blurs the line. The 90s show kind of blurred it a little bit, but you can tell it's there, but it's not a focal point, and it doesn't need to be a focal point. It needs to be what it is. We'll get to it. We'll address it if you want to. It's just not part of the story. It's not time to address it. We have something else to worry about. We got to worry about the Sentinels. We got to worry about Mr. Sinister. We got to worry about this blue almighty apocalypse that looked like something. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. So that's where I stand on that one. But there's not too much information that has came out. There's articles out there where you can go check out. People are speculating maybe OnlyFans, but I'm not going to really say nothing about it yet, because one of all, it's not not saying my place to say, but I'm not going to say nothing about it because we don't have enough evidence. We don't know what it is. Marvel, Disney hasn't said nothing. I don't think it's OnlyFans, especially how close it is. I do think they might have told them, hey, you may not be able to go to this. I do think it's the show. That's what I'm feeling, because either there's only one reason why they would fire him before the show, because the show is not good, and they might have did some test runs about it. Hopefully that's not the case, and I'm wrong, but we'll see. The show comes out next week. If it ain't good, you'll hear me talk about it, or you will hear me, or have videos playing. You might have multiple videos for that whole weekend. I promise you. I guarantee motherfucker to you. So it's supposed to come out the 20th. Let's see here. Next week. So next Wednesday, you will see. And I will tell you, because I'm not big fan of how the animation style looks, but again, it grows on you, but we'll see. But that's all I have to say about that. because again, I feel like this is more of a revenge from The Witcher, because I think what he said about The Witcher and how the writers never were following the books. I do think the guy's a nerd. I think he knows the material, but the problem is, I hope he didn't take too much of the whole discrimination, racism, and too much in this X-Men storytelling, because again, it's there, but it's not the whole grand scheme of things of the show, if that makes any sense. So, as always, like, subscribe, peace, have a Johnson day, and that's my thoughts on the firing of Mr. DeMayo.